There are a lot of badass anime moments in the history of anime, but in this video, I'll give you the top 10 most badass anime moments ever. So let's start with the bottom of the list at number 10. Number 10. Stark vs. Dragon. Stark was born in a village of warriors where weakness was met with scorn. Despite his relentless efforts, he never lived up to their harsh expectations. His older brother was the only one who showed him kindness. When demons attacked their village, Stark fled in terror and encountered Aizen, a legendary warrior renowned for defeating the Demon King. Aizen took Stark under his wing, forging a bond stronger than blood as he trained him in the art of combat. Years later, a rift between them led to a bitter parting. Stark sought refuge in a new village where he was celebrated as a hero. However, when Frieren arrived, pleading for his help against a dragon menacing the village, Stark refused, paralyzed by fear. But fate forced his hand, and Stark confronted the beast. As he clashed his battle axe against the dragon's scales, Frieren recalled Aizen's words. The two had parted in anger, not because Aizen was furious, but because his body moved instinctively. He was terrified of Stark's power. Aizen had confessed that his student was destined to surpass him as a warrior. At that moment, as Stark fought the dragon with unyielding ferocity, the prophecy began to unfold. He was not just facing the dragon, he was conquering his own fears, proving that he was indeed the warrior Aizen had foretold. Number 9. Guts takes on 100 men. Talking about warriors, you may not find a better warrior than Guts in the anime realm, as he's the only one who can claim that he took on 100 men all by himself. Wait, that doesn't sound right. He took on 100 men in a fight with just a bulky sword and the power of the indomitable human spirit. During a fierce battle involving the Band of the Hawk, Guts and Casca found themselves in dire straits, tumbling down a cliff and becoming separated from their comrades. They sought refuge in a cave, but their respite was short-lived. When the enemy discovered their hideout, Guts had no choice but to protect a weakened Casca. With relentless determination, Guts engaged 100 soldiers, fighting single-handedly, despite sustaining numerous wounds. As he battled, he questioned why he risked his life in such a manner, but his resolve never wavered. Against all odds, Guts triumphed, earning the moniker Guts, the 100-Man Slayer. Number 8. Richter Belmont PowerUp. While slaying 100 men all alone is an impressive feat, surely slaying hundreds of vampires is harder. 9 generations after the legendary Trevor Belmont, a hopeless monster slayer who revived the Belmont family, comes Richter Belmont. From the moment he was a child, Richter faced unrelenting trauma that shattered his ability to wield magic. The emotional toll was immense, as he was destined to become the greatest magician of the Belmont household. But after witnessing everything he loved being torn from him, Richter's magic was lost, buried beneath his anguish. Years passed, and Richter remained a shadow of his former self, unable to harness his power. However, when the threat of losing everything once more loomed over him, something within Richter snapped. His rage erupted like a wounded beast's roar, shattering the mental barriers that had held his magic captive. After nearly a decade of being powerless, Richter stood tall and proud once again. His rekindled abilities, paired with a beautifully violent hand-to-hand combat technique, turned him into a whirlwind of destruction. With flames dancing at his fingertips and fists of fury, Richter incinerated every vampire in his path, rejoining the fight against the undead with a vengeance. Number 7. Ruus almost destroys a city. When someone's loved ones are threatened and they're backed into a corner, there's no telling the desperate measures they may take. Such is the case with Ruus Greyrat, a 40-year-old shut-in reborn into the world of Mushoku Tensei. As a loner, he had no concept of familial affection, but in this new world, Ruus found something worth fighting for, something worth unleashing his true power for. After a catastrophic mana disaster, Ruus and Eris were transported to the Demon Continent. Eris' heartbreak over her separation from her family made Ruus determined to reunite her with them. But when a fellow adventurer discovered Ruus cutting deals with higher-ranked parties, he threatened to expose and revoke their adventurer's license unless they handed over half their earnings. Initially, Ruus sought a peaceful solution, but as his frustration grew, his patience broke. He unleashed a surge of mana so intense he threatened to summon a storm capable of obliterating the entire city. What makes the scene so terrifying and badass is that Ruijerd, perceiving the colossal mana pool and understanding Rudius' deadly intent, intervened. In a bold act of self-sacrifice, he revealed his true identity and confronted the blackmailing adventurer. Learning that Ruijerd was a superherd was enough for the adventurer to back down. Ruijerd got that old man strength. Number 6. Yamamoto's Zanka no Tachi, Bleach. Oh, talking about old man strength, who else can come to mind but Captain Commander Genryusai Shigekuni Yamamoto? We get a display of Yamamoto's pure badassery when Yawa launches a brutal and coordinated assault on the Soul Society under Yawak's command. This causes massive casualties and takes out even the strongest Shinigami, due to the dire threat posed by the Quincy invasion led by Yawak. Yamamoto, recognizing the severity of the situation and the extraordinary danger that Yawak and his Stern Ritter pose to the Soul Society, decides to use his most powerful and devastating technique, his Bankai. At first, Yawa seems to find his Zanpoktu to be old and weak. However, when Yamamoto takes a swing with his scorched blade, Yawa realizes the sheer power behind it and barely evades. But when Yamamoto's blade touches the ground, the sheer force from the attack leaves massive craters, showcasing Yamamoto's next power level. Number 5. Black Bulls save Finral. During a high-stake match between the Golden Dawn and Black Bull squads, Finral found himself paired against his younger brother, Langris. Despite Langris' superior strength and magical abilities, he harbored deep-seated resentment and an inferiority complex toward Finral. After Finral was deemed unfit as the original heir of the Vaude family due to his perceived weakness and lack of ambition, the weight of the family's expectations fell on Langris' shoulders. As the match progressed, Langris' anger and fury at Finral's carefree attitude boiled over. He lost control, and in a blind rage attempted to kill his already wounded brother. But in the blink of an eye, the Black Bulls intervened. Luck, Magna, and Asta appeared out of nowhere, their weapons drawn and pointed at Langris' neck. Luck's eyes blazed with determination as he spoke. "Try anything and forget the match. We'll kill you." Asta and Magna flanked him, their expressions deadly serious, ready to back up Lucky's words with action. In that electrifying moment, the Black Bulls made it clear that they would go to any length to protect their comrade. Number 4.
My soldiers push forward!
Erwin's Charge. Not many characters can claim that they're a walking embodiment of testosterone, but Erwin Smith can. After taking what seemed like a lifetime of hard work and sacrifices, the leader of the Survey Corps had finally gotten the closest he was to the truth for a long time. Hell-bent on finding his father's words to be true, Erwin realized that this time, he and the other young soldiers had to be the sacrificial pawns for the top commanders to fulfill his dream. After a little motivation from his right-hand commander Levi, who told him to give up on his dream and die, and lead the recruits straight to hell, Erwin gave a speech so powerful and encouraging that it led his recruits along with him, leading from the front, to charge at the Beast Titan. As they rode to certain death, Erwin screamed aloud, "My soldiers do not buckle or yield when faced with the cruelty of this world. My soldiers push forward. My soldiers scream out. My soldiers rage." Number 3. Roy Mustangs Revenge. After the devastating loss of his best friend, Lieutenant Mays Hughes, at the hands of Envy, an abomination created from alchemy, Roy Mustang's grief ignites a burning desire for vengeance, determined to make Envy pay for his heinous actions. Roy embarks on a relentless pursuit, driven by a singular purpose that consumes him. Months pass, filled with tireless searching, countless battles against other homunculi, and endless frustrations as Envy eludes his grasp. Finally, the moment of reckoning arrives. Roy confronts Envy, who dares to threaten another one of his beloved lieutenants. With cold determination, Roy unleashes the full might of his flames, showing no hesitation as he incinerates Envy to ash. Each snap of Roy's fingers is a symphony of destruction, each blast more intense and ferocious than the last, leaving behind Envy smoldering pieces and lifeless groans. Number 2. Sendo's Onslaught. One of the best sports anime out there is Hajime no Ippo, the famous boxing anime. So of course, an anime based on a badass sport such as boxing is sure to have plenty of badass moments. But you can't deny that Naniwa Tiger's Onslaught takes the cake. During one of his fights, Takashi Sendo's opponent whispers into his ear, "That all you got?" This is enough for Sendo to go into a frenzy and show him that he indeed has more. Pushing his opponent out of the clinch, Sendo corners him onto the ropes and throws a ferocious barrage of punches that immediately results in a standing knockout for his opponent. But this isn't enough for Sendo, as he still has more in the tank. He continues to throw punches and even pushes the ref aside when he tries to interfere. It isn't until more people step in to stop him from killing his opponent that he stops his carnage. Whereas the opponent has gotten so much of Sendo that he ends up being carried out on a stretcher. Number 1.
A mighty push.
Shinra Tensei. Having waited long enough, Pain, the leader of the Akatsuki, decides to retain the Jinchuriki of the nine-tailed fox, Naruto Uzumaki himself. However, instead of doing it secretly, Pain tries to seek out Naruto by nuking his entire village. Floating in the air, Pain tells the villagers to feel and accept pain before he launches his infamous Shinra Tensei. Heavens start to tremble, and an immense gravitational force emanates from the attack, causing catastrophic earthquakes that collapse the whole village. With a mere flick of his hand, Pain unleashes a shockwave that obliterates everything in its path, leaving destruction in its wake. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell to be notified of any of our latest uploads. That said, see you in the next one. Bye!